foul trouble right throughout. He had 4 fouls in the first half, and Rick Adelman stayed with him.
Well, once he picked up that third foul, he was so worried about Jake O'Donnell in terms of the way the game was being called and officiated that frustration set in, and that took away from his performance. You know, one thing you got to remember, Jake is the best official in the NBA. Now, if it be a 7-game, Jake always going to be doing 3 of those 7 games. So that means he's the top official. You cannot mess with him. Play ball. That's your mentality has to be.
Robert Pack, who has seen very little action on the floor for the first time tonight, goes right to the hoop. And the foul called on Pack. It's an offensive foul. Now, that stat line that you saw a moment ago on Drexler, and someone who does not see the game sees it in the box score tomorrow morning, says, wow, 30 points, 10 rebounds. But if you saw the game, you realize that not a good one for Clyde. He's on a different level, and there are other expectations.
Oh, what a
Paxson for 3. Portland 12, Chicago 11.
If you try and get your help from John Paxson's side of the floor to stop Michael Jordan off the dribble, he just floats to an open spot, waits for the pass.
Shot clock at 3. Porter with a force, and he hit it and drew the foul. Terry Porter had to hoist it up with the shot clock dropping down. Paxson commits the foul, and Porter will go to the line.
Well, you said it. With the clock running down, Porter knows he has to get it off. Paxson right there getting a hand. The foul takes place on the wrist. Perhaps this will be the thing that gets Porter off that tough shooting stretch he's been involved with.
3-point play for Terry Porter. It's Portland 15, Chicago 11, as we come up on 4 minutes remaining in the first. Offensive foul on Jordan. That's his first.
Well, the officials are not going to let Michael Jordan get away with anything extra. It's the left hand holding Clyde's wrist so that Clyde can't move his feet. Clyde calls it, the officials call it. No extra advantage for Michael Jordan. Not that he needs any.
Very quiet start for both Jordan and Drexler. Now Grant switches off to Drexler. Shot clock at 5. Drexler changed his mind. Porter has to force again. It's an air ball, and it's a 24-second violation.
It's tough enough in the NBA to get a good shot with the shot clock running down on the 5. But against Chicago's defense, with the quickness and size that they have, when you pass the ball back and forth with 5, 4, 3 on the 24-second clock, nearly impossible to get a good look.
Pippen lost control, but was able to recapture. Paxson on a quick release. John Paxson has hit his first 3 shot attempts. He has 7, and the Bulls trail by 2.
Last time it was Michael Jordan. This time it's Scottie Pippen. Drive the seam, kick to Paxson.
Loose ball foul against the Bulls. It's on Paxson. Second committed by Paxson. And now Rick Adelman calls for time with 3:08 to go in the first quarter. Come on. So Jordan and Armstrong in the backcourt for the Bulls. Scott Williams up front with Scottie Pippen and Horace Grant. 3 minutes remaining in this first quarter. Jordan with the interception. The Bulls trail 15-13.
4th turnover in this first quarter for Portland.
And Jordan is fouled.
Because Chicago anticipates so well, in particular Michael Jordan, the passing lanes are most dangerous. You have to be sure before you pass the basketball. Crisp, short passes.
Clyde Drexler, who was in foul trouble throughout the game on Friday night with 4 in the first half, was called for his first. Again, a non-shooting foul. Now Jordan posting up Drexler. him well. Jordan passed on the 3. Finds Grant. Oh, what a play by Horace Grant. And he's tied the game at 15.
And Danny Ainge had mentioned to us earlier that one of the problems with double teaming Jordan on the perimeter is that he hangs in the air so long, you just don't know where he's going to drop the ball off at the end.
Robinson, yes. Cliff Robinson with his second field goal. He has 4. And the Blazers lead at 17-15. Now Jordan being played by Kersey. Armstrong.
2 minutes to play in the first quarter.
Just under 2 minutes remaining in this opening quarter. Drexler throwing it away. He thought he had a teammate on the far side.
The decision-making ability of Michael Jordan, when he gets in the air, he now has 3 defenders occupied. It's just a matter of picking out the right man. That time it was Grant.
Danny Ainge has checked in. Grant from Armstrong. Bulls caught the Blazers relaxing. They did not get back.
Chicago's team tests you mentally in all facets, every area. If you fall asleep on an inbounds pass, they'll try and get a quick one on you. If you're lazy on a pass, they'll intercept it by cutting in the passing lane. They make you execute and pay attention 48 minutes.
Buck Williams called for the foul. And Grant to the line. And now Kersey makes his return, and Buck Williams sits down after picking up his second. It has been a quiet series for Buck Williams. As Bob mentioned right at the start of the game, he's bothered by a bruised heel. Nice pass from Grant, finding Williams. And the game is tied at 17. Good setup from Porter. Blazers lead 19-17. Jordan. And that is his first field goal. Bulls and Blazers at 19 apiece. Kersey able to penetrate. 8 points for Kersey. The Blazers lead by 2.
That's the freewheeling type of attack that the Trailblazers want to get involved with. Couple passes, put it on the floor, break down the defense.
Last couple of times down, Drexler getting some help with Jordan. Williams rejected by Robinson. Here comes Porter. And it's Kersey again, giving Portland a 23. 19 lead. Ainge with the steal. For Drexler. Rebound, Kersey. Jerome Kersey with a magnificent first quarter. This is his style, and he has really hurt the ball. 6 of 11, 12 points. Blazers lead 25-19. 15 seconds to go in the first quarter. Down to 5. Jordan. And it will be Blazer ball with 2 seconds remaining. That's the end of the first. A good spurt by the Trailblazers. And they lead the Bulls by the score of 25-19.
Good defense will produce easy offense. The block shot that time by Robinson helps to trigger the fast break. Blazer basketball. Get out, fill the lanes, and then the ability to convert at the end. Porter getting Kersey involved early in the game, and then turning the tables around, paying attention to some sloppy play. The steal takes place on the inbounds pass. Danny Ainge heads up at all times. Don't get careless. The Trailblazers make it pay at their end of the floor. Again, the transition game.
So big quarter for Jerome Kersey, leading the way.
In assists. The offense runs through him. So if they can keep pressure on him, obviously it will affect their offensive efficiency. If you get him pumped up at the offensive end, maybe he'll work hard at the defensive end.
Shot clock down to 3. Drexler for 3. Oh, he got the roll. Clyde Drexler has come out with a different personality here in the first half. He's looking to give up the ball. Perhaps the thought that the shot selection was not wonderful in Game 5, and whether it's the coaching staff or Clyde himself, but you can see he has started the game differently. Shot clock at 3. And Michael Jordan drills it home for his second field goal. He has 4. Blazers lead 28-21.
I think that's the way Clyde wants to play, Michael. Challenge him a little bit, but back off so you don't get beat with that first quick long step. Make him make some jump shots before you come out and really get up tight on him.
Oh, pretty pass off the dribble by Robinson. Cliff Robinson with a good start. Blazers lead by 9. So that stat earlier, the Chicago Bulls during the course of this series have led for 78% of the minutes played coming into tonight. Jordan rebounded by Cartwright and knocked away, and the Blazers are back on it. Well, in the first quarter, Portland trailed for only 2 minutes of the 12. Here's Drexler passing the 3. Drexler on the tip. Jordan changed his mind with the three-point opportunity. Pippen, tough angle shot. And it will be Portland possession.
Clyde Drexler with the 3 gets the real good roll. This thing grabs the rim, finds a way to get back in again. He'll take it anyway. Just so long as Clyde knocks him out, it will open things up on the interior for this Portland team.
Drexler getting inside. Easy opportunity for Drexler, who now is 2 of 8.
Well, he's had 2 layups the last 2 times down. Once he puts them in, things will work out.
Pippen drawing the double team momentarily. Shot clock at 5. Down to 1. Pippen. It's a 24-second violation.
Portland should feel real good about itself right now defensively. They're denying, they're moving their feet, they're getting good help, not getting beat off the dribble.
Timeout taken by Phil Jackson, gunning for the NBA championship this year as opposed to a year ago.
Well, last year was it was a honeymoon. It was everything was successful. We tried a lot of things that were unique and special, and they just seemed to all work. It was a kiss of the beloved almost. Today's been this year's has been an odyssey. It's been a journey filled with travail and pitfalls and carting and little things that are going on, and it's been tough. It's been a real hard road.
Yes, it has been a very difficult run for the defending champions through the playoffs, extended to 7 by the Knicks, 6 by the Cavaliers. Kersey with the intended pass to Williams. And the ball goes back to Chicago. So Buck Williams back on the floor. He's playing with 2 fouls. He's matched with Horace Grant. 3 minutes in. Second quarter. The Blazers lead by 9. Michael Jordan sitting down. So Scottie Pippen running the club is able to hit on his 3rd field goal. He has 6. And it's Portland 30. Chicago 23. Bobby Hansen replacing Michael Jordan. And Hansen is guarding Ainge. Kersey got the step. He has 14 points. Jerome Kersey in his 8th season out of Longwood College in Virginia. He's become one of the most physical, explosive, small forwards in the NBA. And Hugh Evans with the call. It's a pushing foul on Danny Ainge.
with Chicago going over the top. Pippen winds up high side. It gives Kersey a chance to put it on the floor baseline and then splits the next defender rotating over.
Kersey, another successful example of Portland going after the terrific athletes, even if they're raw. Kersey has certainly come a long way from Longwood College in Virginia. Pippen for three. It cuts the lead to 6. And the call against Portland. Jerome Kersey for the offensive foul. Here's another look.
After Pippen makes the shot, it's in transition as they're running back down the floor. Kersey trying to hold Pippen up and then delivers the forearm. Not going to get away with that.
And Rick Adelman looking to settle things down. Takes Kersey out. Duckworth checks in. So Kersey with 14 points, 6 rebounds. He has been able to ignite the Trailblazers in this first half. That three-pointer by Pippen is first of this series. He missed his previous 6 attempts. Cartwright, yes. It's Portland 32 and Chicago 28. Defense from the crowd. And the offensive foul on Duckworth. He got entangled with Hansen and is called for his third.
I'm not so sure this isn't a pretty good acting job by Hansen. You're talking about a guy that's close to 300 pounds. When he's backing up, it's only natural you're going to fall down.
The Blazers want to talk it over. They call for time. My thought was that perhaps he was taking him out to settle him down, but he thought he had 3 fouls on him. So Kersey, as you say, is back. Chicago in the midst of a 7-2 run without Michael Jordan over the last minute and 59.
You know, going back to that situation, it probably was a good move that he came out of the game. Get him relaxed, settle back down again after that foul that he picked up on Pippen with the elbow.
Drexler being guarded by Hansen. Kersey then on a switch. Drexler. Loose ball foul. Called on the Bulls. Let's go over to Ahmad.
All right, Mike and Marv. Part of that confusion was that Mike Sheminsky, the trainer, was not keeping a correct count of how many fouls that Kersey had. Rick Adelman extremely upset at Sheminsky.
Michael Jordan for Bobby Hansen, who committed that foul. 6:40 remaining in the first half. Marv Albert with the czar of the telestrator, Mike Fratello, and Ahmad Rashad. Drexler, he was pushed.
The problem with the Portland offense at times is that with their passing game motion offense, it becomes very congested. The spacing is not good. As a result, you try and make passes in close quarters. Too many bodies. You have 6, 8 bodies all in the paint area there. It makes it tough to see, deliver, and catch, and then convert at the end.
Drexler to the line. He was pushed by Grant. At one point in the series, Clyde hit 28 straight. The free throw line. He's off to a slow start. As you can see, only 2 of 9 from the field. 7 points for Drexler. It's the Blazers 34 and the Bulls 28.
It's a deceiving 2 for 9 though, because he's had some real good shot opportunities, which normally he's going to make the inside layups.
Cartwright's pass picked off by Robinson.
That's the pressure defense, the hands. Second time we've seen it pay off. Robinson, earlier Porter with the good hands, caused the turnover.
But Robinson has had a strong all-around first half. Nice feed. Robinson from Kersey, and the Blazers lead 36-28.
Spacing that time much better for Portland. They were spread out. They had Chicago's defense extended. Therefore, you you can run back doors and make passes in the open passing lanes.
Here's Pippen. And Buck Williams with the box out. Here's Porter for Robinson. Drexler passed on the 3. And it's rebounded by Jordan. Picked off by Porter. 2-on-1. Jordan's back. Drexler goes right at him. Blazers with their biggest lead of the night.
Terry Porter back in transition defense. Porter 2-on-1 played the middle linebacker role. Eyes seeing the whole floor, anticipated the pass, and then went and picked it off.
It's a 10-point lead for Portland. B.J. Armstrong. And it's swept by Clyde Drexler. Porter stumbling, but able to get it to Kersey. Drexler around Cartwright. Once again, it's Drexler on the drive. Blazers lead 40-28. And the Bulls calling for time. Couldn't get the timeout. The ball was knocked out of the hands of Armstrong. And last touch by Armstrong as the Bulls were trying to indicate the timeout. And they may have relaxed for it.
Because he knew Phil Jackson had signaled for the timeout.
Chicago, with Jordan sitting down getting a rest, outscored Portland 7-2 in one of those oddities with Michael back on the floor. Portland has unleashed 8 straight points, making 10 in a row, yes, and it counts. Buck Williams with the strong drive, fouled by Scott Williams, and Buck will go to the line.
You don't associate Buck Williams and putting the ball on the floor from the top of the circle, taking it to the basket, but he had the step, put it down with his left hand, good concentration and conversion.
Buck Williams on the line for the first time. The Blazers 43, the Bulls 28. Portland playing for its playoff life. And they've jumped in front by 15, hoping to tie the series at 3 to force a 7th game here in Chicago on Wednesday. The Bulls seeking to wrap it up. Pippen rejected and fouled by Kersey.
Well, the defense is swarming right now for Portland, and with their athleticism, they have the ability to change and block shots. That time, the block was good. It was the left hand in the back. That's where the foul was called.
An 11-0 run overall by the Blazers. And that now is number 2 committed by Jerome Kersey. Pippen to the line for the first time. Scottie Pippen picking up his free throw shooting after he had some difficulties in Game 4. So the Blazers lead it by the score of 43-30. 3:45 remaining. First half, and Ames lost it.
What you want to do is try and have the guy bring the ball to the floor against who you feel is the weakest defender, the guy least likely to put pressure on the ball. They felt that the matchup of Paxson on Ainge, that would be the best way. Bring it up with Danny Ainge, take some pressure off the other guys. Didn't work out that way.
Well, trying to get the Bulls back into it. Jordan through the foul. It's a chant we have not heard during the playoffs. Let's go Bulls from this capacity crowd at Chicago Stadium. Michael Jordan to the line for the first time. Michael coming into tonight's game with an injured thigh and a twisted left ankle, although he told us prior to the game that he's all right. He has played through a host of injuries late through the playoffs. Here's Terry Porter coming back. And he replaces Cliff Robinson, who had an excellent first half.
Cliff Robinson, not only his ability to score the basketball, but he is a highly skilled player. He passes, he finds open people, blocks shots at the defensive end, gives you a little bit of everything, and then flexibility as far as where you want to play him. Big forward, small forward, even the center spot at times.
Robinson 4 of 6, 8 points. Portland 43, Chicago 32.
Chicago now a extending its defense with their trapping defense. Grant up on the ball. Portland wants to attack this for scores if it can.
Porter giving the three. Terry Porter with the three-pointer. Portland so successful during the course of the regular season and the earlier rounds of the playoffs for three-point land, but they have had a horrendous time of it in this series. Today, though, they've hit 2 of 3 from downtown. Michael Jordan has 8 points, and the Blazers now lead 46-34.
Prior to today's game, they were 8 for 45 in this series, just over 17% from the three-point line.
Drexler trying to save it. Jordan able to recapture. And the Bulls reset it. Shot clock at 5. Pippen checking the clock. Pippen off the spin. Rebound Williams. Williams again. He pops it out. Jordan for 3.
You're not going to believe this when I tell you, but he really didn't shoot that one well. It wasn't the kind of look that he wanted. It was more of a line drive type shot than his normal walk behind the three-point line.
So the Portland lead is now 9. They've led by as many as 15. Terry Porter.
You have to use your timeouts wisely in this building against Chicago. Don't let them get on a roll. Keep the crowd out of it if you can.
Drexler knocking it away. Shot clock at 9. Jordan. And again it's Scott Williams. And he's called for a timeout.
Well, ball up on the glass, and Scott Williams, a big, wide body, keeps it alive and then kicks it back out deep. Michael Jordan calls for it and says, I'll take it from here. Shoots a line drive 3, knocks it out at the bottom. And again, the big, wide body on the glass with the good hands, giving Chicago second chance opportunities. Surrounded that time, he decided to utilize the 20-second timeout and save what could have been an errant pass.
5 rebounds for Scott Williams. 3 from the offensive glass. 1:50 remaining in this first half. And Portland with a 46-37 lead. The Blazers led by as many as 15, but Chicago has turned it off a 9-3 run. Now the Blazers have called for a 20-second timeout.
This might be a good opportunity to take Porter and put him outside on Michael Jordan. Jordan's gone by Drexler the last couple of times off the dribble. Perhaps Clyde a little bit fatigued right now. Take Clyde, put him down against Pippen, who's not as quick off the dribble as Jordan. Play Porter on Jordan, play Drexler on Pippen to change the matchup, give a guy a chance to catch his breath.
You mentioned right at the start that Michael Jordan is having one of the remarkable playoff series of all time. Clyde Drexler has had his ups and downs, although he's averaged 25 a game. But the stats can be deceiving. For example, back in Game 5, he did score 30 points, but he did not shoot well, and his shot selection also certainly could be questioned. Scottie Pippen, rebounded by Clyde Drexler. Drexler, though, has sparked his Blazers the last couple of minutes now from three-point range. Rebounded by Grant. 3-on-2. It's Pippen kicking it out to Paxson. Rebounded by Pippen. Now Jordan for 3. Yes! So Portland leading by 6. The Bulls in the midst of a stroke. Terry Porter able to answer. Looks like the stroke has returned for Porter.
Remember, when you take long perimeter jump shots and they're not going down, you get long rebounds off the rim. And with this Chicago team, they run out so well, you want to try and control that. Take high percentage percentage shots, particularly when you come in shooting 17% from the three-point line.
Scott Williams to the post-up move. His second field goal off the good fake. And he's brought Chicago within 6 with a half-minute left in this first half. Nice pass from Drexler, and he's fouled. Scott Williams called for the foul on Buck Williams.
An excellent look that time by Clyde. Williams had turned his head for a split second, lost sight of Buck Williams as Buck ran the backdoor move. Little pump fake, ball fake to get him in the air, and then the contact on the arms.
Scott Williams hears it from the crowd as Cliff Livingston checks in. 4 points, 5 rebounds for Scott Williams. Coming up on the Prudential halftime report, we will hear live from the two coaches who most recently won back-to-back NBA titles. Pat Riley, who did it with the Lakers in '87 and '88. And his Knicks took the Bulls to 7 games this year. And Chuck Daly, who won consecutive championships with the Pistons in '89 and '90. They'll join Bob Costas and Quinn Buckner. Coming up on the Prudential halftime report.
Chicago will use its open, a spread set. Let Michael Jordan try and break down Clyde Drexler off the dribble. If they come in double team, they'll have Paxson spotting up, they'll have Pippen spotting up, and then send Grant and Livingston to the glass. Portland trying to get the ball out of Jordan's hands early.
Drexler poked it away. Jordan got it to Paxson for 3. Rebound, Pippen. And he pulled the foul as time runs out. Pippen was hacked. And he will go to the line. The foul committed by Kersey. That is 3rd. Zeros on the clock. No time remaining. And Pippen to the line. He is 2 of 2 from the free throw line. 76% for the season. And the officials are waving the players off the line. Say it is tougher to shoot the free throws without players lined up.
You feel lonely. You're out there by yourself. You know there's 20,000 people in here looking at you. There's nobody around to give you any support on either side.
Scottie Pippen hits the free throws. So the Blazers by 6 at halftime. Clyde Drexler did not shoot well. 4 of 13 for his 11. Albert, Mike Fratello, and Ahmad Rashad, along with Bob Costas and Quinn Buckner, before the usual packed house in Chicago. Kersey looking for the jumper. Now Porter works down low on Paxson. The pass not handled by Buck Williams.
The second time that a quick pass has gone through the hands of Buck Williams. Either Buck's got to get those hands up and be ready, anticipating, or got to stop trying to throw him those, thread the needle type passes.
Paxson and Jordan at the guards. Grant, Pippen, Cartwright up front. Drexler jumping out for the steal. Drexler in the open floor, finding Kersey. The crowd looking for an offensive foul as Paxson took a shot and a timeout called by Phil Jackson.
Terry Porter doesn't even realize that there is a ball bouncing behind him after the deflection takes place. Clyde gambles and goes around baseline side. Terry turns just at the right moment. And here is where Chicago wants an offensive foul call, but the officials let it go. Kersey converts. The defensive pressure and steals at the end of the first half, 5-2 in favor of the Trailblazers. They know if they pick up their steals, it's going to let them get out in the transition game, which is their strength.
So Portland leads 52 to 44. some confusion as to whether that was a 20 or a full timeout, and it was a 20-second timeout. Pippen being played by Kersey. Pippen for the three-pointer. And it's rebounded by Buck Williams. Gets it down to Kersey. And Kersey on the follow. And it will be Chicago ball.
Is that the fourth layup this game that Portland has had right at the rim, and just they haven't been able to convert? And credit Chicago also for hustling back and not conceding the score.
Minute and a half gone by in the third. Conroy lost it off his foot. For Paxson. Here comes Pippen. Drexler turns his back and then called for the foul, and Pippen is hurt. And Clyde over to take a look.
That whole thing started because of the court balance of the Trailblazers. You had Duckworth outside shooting a jump shot with a guard trying to rotate to him. No one covered the backcourt. Suddenly you look up and you have two Chicago Bulls, Pippen and Jordan, out there streaking. Drexler trying to recover and get in front way too late. Pippen, who had back surgery in the offseason, lands on that bad shot.
Clyde Drexler, very concerned, went over to check it out. Scottie Pippen indicating that he's all right. The foul on Drexler, his third. Pippen is 5 for 5 from the free throw line. He has 14 points. Portland leads by 7. The Blazers 52. The Bulls 46. Porter for 3. Duckworth came up high to set the pick. And it will be Chicago in possession.
You had Duckworth out there trying to set a screen to give Porter a pick and roll situation, but then there aren't too many people on the offensive boards.
Poco Jordan. Porter was fouled. Blazers 3 on 2. Oh, what a ball fake by Drexler, and now he's fouled by Pippen.
I think that Scottie Pippen remembered who had committed the foul at the other end of the floor. Pippen chasing him down, going to make sure that he just gets enough of him to send a message back. The numbers, they're out early. The pitch ahead pass by Porter. Pippen not conceding anything easy.
Drexler has hit 3 of 3 from the line. He has 12 points. Portland with an 8-point lead. Drexler now guarding Michael Jordan with 3 fouls on him. Jordan rebounded by Williams. Was able to get back to stifle that fast break attempt. Here's Porter. Yes. Terry Porter with 12. Blazers lead 56 to 46.
You're going to have people step up and make big baskets to stop the Chicago runs, because you know that when they get on those streaks, they're most dangerous.
And Paxson was stripped. Duckworth gets it down to Porter. So Portland leads by 12, and Phil Jackson calls for a timeout.
From the beginning of the game, you could
Stiff. Almost 9 points per game as compared to his production over the first 3 rounds. Chicago 0 for 3 from the field in this third quarter. Make it 0 for 4. Blazers lead it 58-46. Kersey, yes, and give the assist to Terry Porter.
You know, after the first 4 games, Terry Porter was averaging only 3.5 assists per game. Then he comes out in Game 5, has 7 assists in the first half, 1 in the second half. Dribble penetration will lead to good shots for his teammates.
John Paxson hitting the jumper. He has 9, and Portland leads 60-48. 4 minutes gone by in the third. Now Michael Jordan guarding Jerome Kersey. And the blocking foul called on Jordan. That is his second. Getting back to the difference in scoring, the Blazers obviously having a bit more of a difficult time against the Chicago Bulls as compared to the earlier rounds of the playoffs.
Bulls defense is a much different type of defense. They're very aggressive. They take away your passing lanes, and they control tempo. That's the big thing.
Duckworth swinging inside. The Chicago crowd looking for the offensive foul call and looking for a foul on Kersey. But a very strong defensive effort by the Trailblazers. Paxson, same spot. John Paxson has 11. Porter with a nice pass off the dribble, but a foul was called. Offensive foul on Drexler. That's his 4th.
Duckworth with the up and under move shows Cartwright comes back with the left hand. Drexler holding off Jordan, the offensive foul call because both arms are wrapped around Michael.
Well, a critical call against the Blazers. Drexler playing with 4. He picked up 4 in the first half the other night, and that is an offensive foul on Cartwright.
And there's some decision-making to be made by Adelman. First, a look at the 2 big bodies down low inside. The move by Cartwright swinging in on Duckworth. Too much contact, they feel, initiated by the offensive player. Therefore, the offensive foul call.
Portland has asked for a timeout. They lead by 12. Stacey King has checked in for the first time. So King is up front, along with Grant, Pippen, Jordan, and Paxson in the backcourt. Pippen lost it. He thought he was fouled. Bill Jackson now complaining. Being waved back to the bench by Ed Rush. But Williams with a rare outside shot. The tip missed by Drexler, then Kersey. Drexler gets it back. And they get the new 24. Here's Kersey. Yes. It has been a magnificent night for Jerome Kersey. He has 20. And the Blazers lead it 64-50. Halfway through the third. Paxson then on a switch by Buck Williams. The mismatch is Drexler and Grant. Paxson to the scoop.
Portland has to make a decision on those dribble handoff or split screens, whether to stay with their own people or switch. They've decided to switch out, but it leaves a big guy trying to guard a guard off the dribble.
Kersey with an open shot. Jerome Kersey is hitting from all angles. Blazers lead 66-52. Porter guarding Jordan. Porter trying to draw the offensive foul. 16 for Jordan.
It's one of the few areas on the floor where Portland knows for sure that it wants to come and double team, and that's when Jordan is down in the low post, but you have to bring him to the double team.
Buck Williams will go to the foul line. Scottie Pippen called for the personal for Pippen. It is his second. Earlier in this series, we were talking about the improved free throw shooting of Buck Williams when he first broke into the league as a member of the New Jersey Nets. He struggled at the line, but he's come a long way. Buck now 75% from the free throw line. And he's 4 for 4 tonight. You can see the progress that he has made in the finals, shooting better than 90% at the line.
Because of turnovers that they forced, steals, 8 steals, and then offensive rebounds. They have 11 at this point. I'm talking about Portland. They have 10 more field goal attempts right now than the Chicago Bulls do. 56-46 in field goal attempts.
Cliff Livingston checked back in, providing a rest for Scottie Pippen. Blazers by 14. Buck Williams stepping out for the steal. What a play by Buck Williams. Porter with the change of direction. And he thought he was fouled.
Out of control. Dribble penetration out of control.
And Jordan lost it. Livingston recovers. Here's passing for 3. Rebounded by Porter. Blazers have to love this style of play, though. Kersey gets it to Drexler. This is Portland's brand of basketball. They have the tempo going in their direction.
And it's all happened because of their hard work. They're on the glass. They're out in passing lanes. We saw Buck Williams just pick up the steal. Second and third shot opportunities.
Biggest lead of the night, 16-point margin for the Blazers, trying to tie the series at 3, forcing a Game 7 on Wednesday. Livingston is fouled. That draws the sardonic roar from the crowd.
There have been a number of times that Clyde Drexler has wound up open under the basket. His teammates are finding him. Kersey with the good look, Clyde with the conversion.
Buck Williams charged with his 3rd, and Clifton Livingston will go to the line.
That's all part of the Portland transition game of crossing either the big guard or small forward under the basket after the pass has been advanced to a corner. That time for Portland, it was advanced to the left corner. Kersey had the ball. Drexler made the cut under the basket.
Portland with the ball and a 15-point lead. 3:40 remaining. 3rd quarter. Kersey guarded by Livingston. Shot clock at 2. Porter. Jordan. And he'll go to the line. We're saying, is it on me? Yes, it is. Said Hugh Evans. Duckworth called for his 4th. Well, they say a non-shooting foul. Livingston will throw in.
They called Duckworth for shoving the screener into where Jordan was trying to shoot the ball. Therefore, no shot attempt.
Now Jordan is fouled. That counts. And the foul called on Porter.
The team score.
Jordan knows he can get a good look over Porter. Porter tries to body him out, and then just the touch on the turn is where the whistle is called. Now, with this lead that Portland has of 13 points with Michael shooting, and knowing that Drexler has 4 fouls, just around 3 minutes remaining in this quarter, is it a good time to take him out, rest him, so you have him for the entire 4th quarter with 2 fouls to use? You wouldn't want him to pick up one right now, holding this lead.
Portland by 12. Robinson. Dangerous passing by the Blazers. They got away with it, though. Drexler able to hit, and the foul. 17 for Drexler. Livingston called for the foul.
Well, the interior passing is so difficult, but players with good hands. First, Robinson finds a handle, then he looks for an open teammate. Clyde stays after it, finds the handle, and the score, and the free throw opportunity.
E.J. Armstrong come on for John Paxson. E.J. played 10 minutes in the first half, did not score. 2:45 to go in the 3rd, and the Blazers lead by 15 points.
And Adelman is playing Drexler on B.J. Armstrong, Porter on Jordan to avoid the foul situation.
Robinson with the block, and the foul is called. Livingston will go to the line.
Portland personal foul 3 with Robinson.
attempt, and then the live bodies on the glass. This is what Cliff Levingston goes in the game for, to get second, third shot opportunities, do all the dirty work in the lane around the basket.
So Cliff Robinson with his first. Livingston is 1 of 3 from the line. Evan Duckworth sitting down after picking up his 4th. Well, the Bulls having their problems at the line while Portland has been perfect. Blazers 13 for 13 at the line. Here's Drexler allowed to penetrate. Jordan putting the move on Porter. Stopped by Drexler. Terry Porter hitting the floor hard. Along with Clyde Drexler. B.J. Armstrong called on the foul.
Just a terrific defensive effort by Clyde Drexler. Jordan goes by the first 2 defenders. Drexler running the floor the whole way, setting this up way behind as far as steps, but the perfect timing, and he covers so much ground to get the block and save what looks to be like a sure score. Great defensive play, particularly with 4 fouls on Clyde Drexler. And Jackson can't believe it.
The 5th team foul on the Bulls. Porter is now 4 of 4 from the line. And Drexler will sit down. Drexler with 18 points, but only 6 of 17 from the field. So it's Portland up 75-58 as we come up on 2 minutes to go in the 3rd. Armstrong with his first field goal. Blazers by 15. Here's Porter. And once again, the Blazers control the offensive board.
13 offensive rebounds for Portland.
Terry Porter with 18. Portland leads 77-60. The difference in this game, along with the production of Jerome Kersey, the fact that Terry Porter came out very offensive-minded. Although he did not hit early, it got him into it early. Armstrong with the shot clock down to 1.
But it had to be a combination. Porter asserting himself and Clyde Drexler pulling back a little bit at the beginning of the game to allow Terry to get off. You can't have everyone fighting for shots.
Here's Ames. Yes. Danny Ames with his first field goal. Blazers red hot. Now lead 79-62.
Danny Ames with a good 4-inch advantage over B.J. Armstrong. Just backs him to the spot and shoots over the top.
To the spin. And Kersey felt that there should have been an offensive foul on Jordan.
And Jordan felt he should have been shooting a free throw after he scored the basket.
See the differential between the game clock and the shot clock. 5 of the 24. Robinson lost it. Here's Livingston. And it will be Chicago ball with 4 3/10 seconds remaining in the 3rd quarter.
You have to watch for Michael Jordan back cutting and going to the basket for a lob. They like to use this with not too many seconds left on the clock.
John Paxson replacing Cliff Levingston.
With Michael out of bounds also after the pass now. Watch him stepping in quick.
Armstrong. So time runs out in the 3rd. The Portland Trailblazers outscore the Chicago Bulls 29-20 in the third, and they lead it by 15 as we head to the fourth quarter. We'll be back at
2 in the third quarter. Their high so far was a 24-point third quarter last game.
So the fourth quarter is underway. The Blazers hoping to tie the series at 3. That pass intended for Hansen, and a foul called on Ainge. His second. Blazers 11 for 21. Good shooting. Third quarter, the Bulls 8 of 17. Rick Allen providing a rest for Clyde Drexler. Kevin Duckworth has returned. Here's Hansen. That's a 3. Bobby Hansen with his third three-pointer of the series. Hansen on the floor with Michael Jordan getting some time off. Kersey for Robinson. And Kersey stopped by Hansen. Oh, King was wrong. And the Bulls asking for a flagrant foul.
I think the referee has called a flagrant foul. They'll shoot these free throws and get the ball out of bounds on the side. If there's not an intent to play the ball, instead playing the body, they're going to call that flagrant foul. As King goes up, Kersey rotating over, comes down with the right arm. That follow-through of the right arm is what is going to determine whether or not it's a flagrant foul. Kersey has already been called for one flagrant foul previously in the finals. Rick Adelman doesn't quite agree with the call, obviously.
Stacey King is 75% free throw shooter. As Kersey involved on that flagrant foul of Scott Williams. And that led to the heated discussion between Danny Ainge and Jerome Kersey. Stacey King, you recall, involved with Danny Ferry back in the series against Cleveland.
Looking on the floor of Chicago's team, the only starter out there, Scottie Pippen. Sometimes coaches, when they realize their starting unit is out of sync, they make a change. They go with the second unit, second group as they call it, and hope that they can shake things up.
Drexler back. Pippen able to elude Drexler, who did not want to pick up his fifth. So the Bulls have come out roaring at the start of the fourth. The Blazers now lead by 9.
And after that basket, Rick Adelman started to signal timeout, but changed his mind and let him play through it.
Cliff Robinson has said Portland leads 81-70. There's King, fouled by Duckworth. That's number 5 on Kevin Duckworth.
When you're matched up and you're playing Stacey King, you have to play him strong for the left-hand drive. He's not going to put the ball down with his right hand and try and beat you to the basket.
Now Portland takes a timeout. We'll be right back. Downtown. Stacey King back to the line. The crowd detecting the possibility of a run by the Bulls, who have been sparked by this unit. Stacey King, Scott Williams, Scott Pippen up front with Bobby Hansen and B.J. Armstrong in the backcourt. Chicago now 12 of 18 from the line. Portland has been perfect. They've hit all 15. So the Bulls, chipping away, have cut that 17-point Portland lead down to 9. Pressure by Chicago. Robinson, rebounded by Williams.
Robinson got caught halfway in between deciding whether to shoot it or give it up to someone else. He was so open, it was like an afterthought. He didn't really want to stroke that one.
clock to 4. Pippen gets the Blazers 81. The Bulls 74. And the Bulls are doing it without Michael Jordan on the floor. A double dribble called by Mike Mathis. He hesitated. Scottie Pippen gave the indication, and then the call was made.
Sometimes you just want to be sure that it's the right call before you make it. Scottie Pippen has Drexel down low, uses his size, just muscle it up inside on the post-up move.
Michael Jordan cheering on his team from the bench. A 10-2 run by Chicago, and off that turnover, it will be Chicago ball when we resume.
Mark, I disagree with that last call. You can always pick up a fumbled basketball. He did not try to re-dribble the ball. He lost control, fumbled it, picked it up off the ground. You're allowed to do that.
And the Trailblazers certainly felt that it was a wrong call. You may have seen the reaction of Rick Allen. But on the turnover, it comes back to Chicago. They pulled within 7. Bill Jackson staying with this unit. Armstrong. Yes. The Portland lead is down to 5. 9 minutes to go in the fourth. Offensive foul on Portland. It's called on Buck Williams.
It's got to be the toughest thing to stay within what you were doing the whole game when every call, everything seems to be going against you. It takes terrific concentration to try and hold and maintain a lead, particularly in this building.
All right, King. Yes. Buck Williams tried to draw the foul. The Bulls with a 3. And they've done it with Michael Jordan sitting out. Portland calling for time.
King down in the low post, gets to a point where he starts to make his move to the middle. Buck gives it the flop, falls down. You don't want to fall on the floor that close to the basket.
The Chicago Bulls trying to repeat another Portland turnover. Chicago in the midst of a 14-2 run this fourth quarter. They've hit 5 out of 5 from the field. Michael Jordan has returned. Here's King. Rebounded by Buck Williams. The Blazers have led by as many as 17. They led by 15 at the start of this fourth quarter. It's Drexler. He has 20, and the Blazers now lead by 5.
Now's the decision-making time for Phil Jackson. How long do you go with this unit on the floor? They got you right back in the game. They've used up a lot of energy to do that, and they're not used to playing extended minutes. When do you bring back your main unit?
Armstrong for 3. And it will be Portland ball. Drexler for Robinson. And Scottie Pippen may have gotten away with a travel. Pippen met by Buck Williams. Takes it one-on-one and lost it. Good play by Kersey. Porter trying to push it down. The Bulls able to get back. 7 minutes to go in this fourth quarter, and the Blazers lead by 5. Foul call on Armstrong.
BJ realized that he was in trouble. He got caught guarding Kersey. He took the foul right away rather than let Jerome score a basket right there. Portland must remain aggressive. They must continue to attack, get on the offensive boards, get second shot opportunities, play the way they did when they built up that lead.
Here's Drexler. And a troubling violation called on Pippen.
Well, Clyde Drexler had the right idea. Put it on the floor, take it to the basket, try and get the official to blow a whistle to get to the free throw line, build up points that way. But even though no call, they got right back again by the travel taking place. Drexler trying to get it to the front of the rim. No call is made. He misses the shot. But then afterwards, you had a travel, which gives the ball back to Portland.
Robinson forced to a very difficult shot.
Not the type of shot you want at that time.
Here's Pippen.
Rick Adelman is signaling to his team, move the basketball, pass the basketball. Don't just stop after one pass.
Very tentative pass by Kersey, and Jordan comes up with it. And the Bulls will regroup. Pippen trying to post up. Shot clock at 8. Drexler playing with 4. Here's Jordan. Rick Adelman calls for time.
Scottie Pippen with the ability to put it on the floor, one dribble from the top of the circle, and he's at the rim for the conversion. Michael, on the other hand, taking the floater just over the outstretched arm.
Oh, wow, some game, huh?
Get those commercials in so they can pay your salaries on. Chicago with an 18-4 advantage in this fourth quarter. The Blazers have led most of the way. Portland wants a goaltend. Porter was fouled by Armstrong. They will not get the goaltend call.
Take the ball to the basket, try and draw the foul, try and quiet the crowd. Portland wanted the goaltend call. No goaltend.
Terry Porter is 5 for 5 from the line. So Portland 16 of 16 from the foul line.
Their claim was, Portland, that the backboard was touched while the ball was up on the glass. If that's the case, it should be a goaltend then if it's touched while the ball is on the glass.
B.J. Armstrong sitting down, replaced by John Paxson. B.J. leads with 6 points. Paxson has had the hot hand throughout. Portland by 2. The Blazers 85, the Bulls 82. Chicago back to Jordan and Paxson at the guards. Pippen, King, and Williams up front. Stacey King has played a major role. Shot clock to 5. Down to 3. Pippen for 3. 24 for Pippen, hitting the three-pointer with the shot clock down to 2. Terry Porter able to come back. That's his 7th field goal. He has 22. The Blazers 87. The Bulls 85.
Portland played defense as well as you can play. Pippen just knocked out a sensational shot.
Just under 5 minutes remaining in the fourth quarter. Michael Jordan. Yes. The game is tied at 87. Jordan has 25. The Trailblazers hoping to send this series to a 7th and final game Wednesday here in Chicago. Drexler Drexler rejected by Scott Williams. Jordan for three. Rebounded by Pippen. The Blazers and Bulls tied at 87. The backdoor pass picked off on the deflection. Jordan with the steal. The first time Chicago has led since the opening minutes when they had a 4-2 lead. Here's Drexler. And the game is tied at 89.
Something that Chicago has done throughout the series is hang in on the rebounders. You must pay attention and protect the basketball.
Jordan unhappy with the hand checking of Drexler. King played by Williams. Stacey King. Crowd wanted offensive interference. We're approaching 3 minutes to go in the fourth. Drexler. Scott Williams comes up humbly as Chicago calls for time.
Clyde, on the other hand, beats Michael off the dribble, but then encounters Scott Williams, who rotates over to block the shot. When you rebound the ball, if you're Portland against Chicago, you must protect it. They hang in and try and deflect your outlet passes. Jordan coming from behind, the steal, the dunk. Rick Adelman not particularly happy. He felt there was a foul on the play.
Chicago opened this fourth quarter with a 14-2 run, and they did it with Michael Jordan on the bench for the first 3.5 minutes of the fourth. Phil Jackson going with a hybrid lineup, and it worked. The Blazers and Bulls tied at 89. Chicago gunning for its second straight NBA championship. Portland trying to tie the series, hoping to extend to a 7th game here in Chicago on Wednesday. Shot clock down to 5. Jordan, that was deflected short by Drexler. And Buck Williams able to come away with it.
And again, Scottie Pippen slapping at the basketball after Buck came up with the rebound. Remember, the advantage now in timeouts definitely on Chicago's side.
Here's Williams. He was set up beautifully but missed the layup.
We mentioned earlier the number of layups and inside shots that they have missed, Portland. You have to convert those.
Scottie Pippen does convert to give Chicago a 91-89 lead. 2:15 remaining in the fourth.
I'm kind of missing where Jerome Kersey has been offensively for the last portion of the game.
Porter stripped by Paxson. And it will be Chicago ball. Ed Rush says it was knocked out of bounds by Terry Porter.
Porter on the way up. Paxson with the hand in there to strip, and then out of bounds on the sideline.
A minute 50 to go in the fourth. Chicago with a 2-point lead. Drexler playing with 4. Shot clock at 3. Yes! And a timeout called with a minute 39 remaining in the fourth.
The reason that you can't double team back on Michael quickly is because Paxson is standing right outside. He gets a great look, knocks it down from short range.
Portland has taken its final timeout. 1967. And San Francisco came back to win the game. Chicago trailed by 15, 79-64, going to this fourth quarter.
I mentioned before about Jerome Kersey. His last score was with 5:22 left in the third quarter. He has 22 points at that time and still has 22.
Here's Drexler, rejected by Williams, but a foul is called. Michael Jordan called for the foul, and Clyde Drexler will go to the line.
The Chicago defense is a suffocating defense. When you make a move on the interior, they always have people there to challenge. Williams' block was good. The foul was called on the way up on Michael Jordan.
Drexler 6 of 6 from the line. He has 23 points, and the Blazers 18 of 18 from the free throw line. The Bulls by 3. 1:31 to go in the fourth. It's a 2-point lead. Portland has used all its timeouts. Ames staying with Pippen in the backcourt.
You dig in now defensively, you must get a stop. There's plenty of time in the basketball game for Portland to come back, tie it, and take the lead.
Shot clock at 10. And a hold on Drexler. That is his fifth. And it is a non-shooting foul.
Clyde, realizing that they have a foul to give before it becomes bonus, takes one outside before Michael can turn the corner.
1:13 remaining in the fourth. Bulls get the new 24. Both teams have 4 team fouls.
They've been isolating Michael on that left side of the floor. Here's where he knocked down the jumper over Clyde last time.
Scott Williams takes the shot. That is not what the Bulls had in mind. Drexler. And it's called a jump ball. Drexler thought he was fouled.
But you had Chicago who wanted an offensive foul call. Portland wanted the foul call. Both players had established their position. Williams was under the rim. You're not going to get a charge in the NBA that close to the rim. Drexler wanted the call on the rotating Grant, hitting him on the right side.
49 seconds remaining fourth quarter. The Bulls 93, the Blazers 91.
Grant will try and drop it between Jordan and Williams on a safety tap right here if he can get it.
Mike Mathis attempting to line them up. And the call is Portland ball, deflected out by Chicago. And Rush conferring with Hugh Evans, who had another angle, and they changed the call. The ball goes to Chicago.
Well, Buck gets it in there late, and it's Clyde who sticks that right hand up and touches Clyde's hand, evidently, on the way out of bounds.
The Bulls with the ball and a 2-point lead.
You don't foul now. You dig in and get a stop.
Here's Jordan. The Bulls 95, the Blazers 91. Drexler for 3. Kept alive by Kersey. And the foul is called. It's on Pippen. Chicago over the limit.
Portland never rotates over in time as Michael comes to the right side of the floor. It was an isolation created almost by happenstance. It was there. Michael took advantage of it, saw the opening, took it to the rim.
Michael Jordan coming on in the second half. He has 31. Portland is 19 for 19 from the line. Kersey on the line for the first time. Ron Kersey, a 66% free throw shooter. Cliff Robinson checking in. Replacing Danny Ainge. 27 seconds to go in the fourth. The Bulls lead it by 3.
You have John Paxson boxing out Terry Porter outside the three-point line. You have Michael Jordan paying attention to Drexler so that Portland doesn't miss on purpose, and those guys come flying in. You must be 6 feet behind to give the shooter room as to where you can line up.
It's a 2-point Chicago lead. Pressure by the Blazers. Drexler playing with 5 fouls, going for the steal against Jordan. Now Jordan met by Porter. the game clock and the shot clock. And now the foul given by Porter.
See, they have no timeouts left, so it's not like they can advance the ball to the half-court line after it. So you go for the steal in the backcourt, and then once it gets over the 10-second line, you must foul so that you get a chance to at least come back and score. You hope that they miss their free throw opportunities.
Michael Jordan is 3 of 3 from the line. He's an 83% free throw shooter. 11 and 8/10 seconds to go in the fourth. The Bulls lead by 2. Chicago 96, Portland 93. The Blazers do not have any timeouts left.
Portland placing 2 players down the floor to try and get a quick hurry-up offense going after this free throw.
4-point Chicago lead. Drexler was checking, thought there might have been a timeout remaining. Here's Kelsey for 3. Paxson with the rebound. Time running down. The Chicago Bulls have won the NBA championship for the 2nd straight season.
Until now. Tonight, during this hour, Tyson speaks out for the first time about that fateful night in Indianapolis, about his trial and his life behind bars. I spoke with him at the Indiana Youth Center, a medium security prison near Indianapolis. Several weeks earlier, he had been confined for a short time to an isolation cell for making what prison officials say were threatening remarks to a guard. I asked Mike Tyson to tell me what had happened.
Listen, Ed, you know, you're in prison. You're in something that's totally new to you. You know what I mean? On this kind of level. You get provoked. I was provoked. And I said things. And things happened. And I did my time for it. And it was it. And it was over.
Was there a lesson that came out of it?
There's some people in here that lie. You know what I mean? They don't look to the situation. You know what I mean? Because they have the authority, their way is the right way.
And you're talking about the prison guards who are here.
Absolutely. You know, I mean, there's people here that are good people. Don't get me wrong. There are good guards here. But you must think of the mentality that it takes for somebody that want to be a prison guard to have a dying thumb on somebody, to put their foot on somebody's neck. You know what I mean? It's the authority mostly, perhaps. Just the authority, being under that kind of authority from a person, which, in my mentality, I would say this person wouldn't even clean my toilet. And then, of course, power is addicting. Anybody wants power, regardless of what kind of power it is. They want it, and I guess this is their way of showing their power.
How have you adjusted to losing power?
I've never lost my power, you know what I mean? Because my power was always in me. My greatest asset is me. It's always me.
I know some of your friends were concerned that you might face some danger in prison, that somebody who doesn't have anything to lose might decide that he's going to make a name for himself and take you on. Do you ever think about that?
Hey, can I tell you something? Why would anybody, you know what I mean? What would he gain by it? Say he cut my throat, he beat me up, he killed me. What would he gain by it?
You feel threatened at all?
Just by the fact that I know that I'm not the most popular inmate in here because, you know what I mean, I stand up for what I believe in, you know what I mean? I basically say what's on my mind, and from prior experience, I know that could land me in a lot of trouble.
What about the inmates? How are the inmates treated?
I haven't had any problems. Just, you know, sometimes when you walk, and you really couldn't understand this prison because it's not like a prison that you may think. You walk and people, like, they're homes. People be out the window this and that to somebody, and you mother this and this and that and this and that. And one day, so I said, Mike Tyson, you effing tree jumper. And I didn't know what a tree jumper was. I thought he meant like I was a great athlete or something, like jumping out trees. And I was telling him, what's a tree jumper? He said, tree jumper's a rapist. You know, you wait for little kids to go by, and you jump out the tree and grab them. So, oh, Christ. You know what I mean? I said, oh, I can't believe this. You know what I mean? And it just takes your mentality, and it puts you in a different assortment than anything else.
During our conversation, Tyson told me from what he sees, drugs, alcohol, and sex are a part of prison life. He says he minds his own business and reads a lot. Though he's trying to use his time constructively, he's still angry he's in jail because, as Harold Dow tells us, Tyson doesn't believe he belongs there and is appealing the rape conviction.
Michael Tyson didn't rape Desiree Washington. He's innocent of the charges, and if the full story had come out, he would have been acquitted.
You think Mike Tyson belongs in jail?
Damn right he belongs in jail. Just like anybody else who commits a rape belongs in jail.
This is Suite 606 in the Canterbury Hotel. Mike Tyson was sentenced to 6 years in prison for raping Desiree Washington in this room. But 4 months after his trial and conviction, there is still a lingering difference of opinion about what happened here.
I left Indianapolis, Indiana to see the world, but I came back and discovered the world in Indianapolis, Indiana.
The road that led to room 606 began during the Miss Black America pageant, where Tyson met Desiree Washington while taping this promotional video.
I'm in a dream, day after day. Beautiful women in such an array. Oh, we must try that again.
Contestant 8, Desiree Washington from Coventry, Rhode Island.
They agreed to go out that evening. Tyson called her from his limousine after midnight. They drove from her hotel to the Canterbury, just a block away, and went up to his room at about 1:30 in the morning. The jury believed Washington, that she thought she was going up to Tyson's room to pick up something before they went out again. She says she had no idea that they were going up to his room to have sex. Washington says there had been no indications earlier in the day that that's what Tyson wanted. And once inside the bedroom, Washington says that's when Tyson changed, from a sweet, nice person to an animal.
The only issue in this case is what happened in that room on that night.
Attorney Alan Dershowitz is handling Mike Tyson's appeal.
There was possibly a terrible misunderstanding here between a man who understood the rules that operate between professional athletes and rock stars on the one hand and groupies, and a young woman who acted like a groupie, behaved like a groupie, came to the room like a groupie, and then decided after it was all over she didn't want to be treated like a groupie.
That argument was no good when it was made the first time.
Oh, great. We're doing well. Very pleased.
Greg Garrison led the prosecution team for the state of Indiana.
Tyson and Washington agree that Tyson said to her after he finished with her, "You may stay the night." If she was a groupie trying to be successful, being invited to stay the night with the champ is a lot more important than just having sex with him and getting walked to the car. The argument falls on its face. Had that all happened and she was a groupie, she says, touchdown.
Do you have a problem? Yes, I'm calling to report a rape.
In fact, Washington left Tyson's room and 24 hours later called 911.
And the person started attacking me. Not attacking me, but like he seemed very aggressive, trying to take my clothes off, and then just basically forced himself upon me.
She testified that he asked her in the middle of the sexual encounter, "Now would you like to get on top?" And she testified that she responded, "Yeah." In her own mind, she said she responded, "Yeah," because that would put her in a better position to control the situation. So even her own testimony, discussions of whether he should use a condom, discussions about whether he was going to make her pregnant, this doesn't sound like a rape.
He has the famous concept what he's talking about. He didn't get raped. He's a man. He doesn't know a damn thing about rape. He doesn't know about nightmares. He doesn't know about a ruined life that never gets better.
The littlest things, it doesn't really matter how much they cost. Sometimes they're the prettiest things.
Dershowitz also points to Washington's behavior in the days after the incident.
It looks the best. Thank you.
She continued to participate in the pageant.
Hello, my name is Desiree. My ideal mate is athletic.
Washington says she wasn't about to quit, even though she was in pain.
Because I love a man who loves to debate.
But these days, Alan Dershowitz is less concerned with Desiree Washington's behavior.
Did Mike Tyson receive a fair trial in your courtroom?
I believe he did.
Than that of Judge Patricia Gifford.
This was not a judge. It was an advocate. It was a prosecutor in robes.
Did you want to talk to her at all?
No.
He's looking for trial mistakes by the state on which to base his appeal.
You can't have a fair trial when the prosecutor picks the judge.
That's my point.
Garrison denies that happened, but it is possible in Indianapolis for a prosecutor to position a trial with a particular judge.
I've heard that argument advanced that because I have prosecuted rape cases that I shouldn't be trying them. I don't know that it gives me any more advantage, disadvantage. It probably gives me more insight into both sides.
She gave the wrong instruction.
Another appeal issue for Dershowitz? Gifford's instruction to the jury.
We went through everything. We wanted to be sure of what we did, and we wanted to be fair.
One of the jurors in an interview said afterward, we believe both Desiree Washington and Mike Tyson. The law is clear. You're supposed to acquit under those circumstances. And the judge gave the wrong instruction. It's traditional instruction given all over the country, indeed all over the Western world. But the judge in this case failed to do it.
If Pat Gifford didn't give him a fair trial in this case, then they're suggesting that it's not possible in 1992 for anybody to get a fair trial ever in a case like this.
But there is one appeal element about the trial that everyone seems to agree is in question.
There's only one real issue, and that's these late-blooming witnesses that showed up on Sunday evening when I was going to rest on Monday morning.
He's referring to the three witnesses who said they saw Tyson enter the Canterbury Hotel with a woman on his arm at about 1:30 that morning.
They would have proved that the testimony of Desiree Washington was false.
To me,
Judge Gifford refused to let them testify, saying they didn't add anything new and had taken too long to come forward.
that is one of the issues that is up for appeal, so I'm not at liberty to comment on that.
I saw something and I feel that it may be important.
Later in this hour, you'll get to hear what the jury couldn't hear.
I saw two people hugging and kissing all over each other.
For the first time, one of the witnesses at the Canterbury Hotel that night speaks out.
I just want the truth to be told and everyone to tell the truth.
What do you say to the jury that convicted you? You think you got a fair shot?
Well, there's no way I could have got it. How could I have got a fair shot? I mean, I knew I was innocent. I knew from court procedures and what was going on, but I knew when I was in that court and when I was going to get that verdict, I knew the verdict was going to be guilty because of the mentality of the court and the mentality of the prosecutor.
What did you think of the prosecutor?
The prosecutor, I thought he was a racist, weak, publicity-happy little weak man. And I just felt it, that I was, you know, I was always nervous and worried because I knew that it was going to take me away from people that I loved, but I was just prepared for it.
You were prepared to give it up?
It was something, that couldn't be stopped.
When we come back, Mike Tyson talks about who's in charge of his money now. And for the first time since his conviction, he tells us his version of what happened that night in Indianapolis.
I came in the car, we kissed, and we were making out, okay?
Career from the very beginning, interviewing him a number of times over the years.
That's true, Ed.
You know, Harold, prison is a place where a lot of people said he'd end up.
Well, Ed, that's true. You know, Tyson once told me if it weren't for boxing, he'd be dead or in jail. But as we see, he was wrong. I first met him in 1985. He was only 18 years old. Few people knew who he was.
There were no large crowds. Tyson was living that lonely life, sweating out early morning workouts on the back roads of Catskill, New York. And in his spare time, tending his pigeons.
They're like my brothers and sisters, my friends. Because I don't have to worry about them asking me for any money or trying to get over me or do anything or trying to hurt me for any reason.
Catskill was worlds away from the mean streets of Brownsville, New York, where Tyson grew up.
It was pretty bad. It was nothing seeing people getting shot over dice games, or killed over a dice game or something, or card games. It was part of life.
Tyson was a tough street kid. He admitted to being a hardened criminal by age 11.
I became confident. If you could steal things and get away with it, we started stealing all the time. I was nervous and everything, but it was fun.
Tyson sounded grateful for the experience.
Thank you for letting me rob you, because if I never robbed you, I would never got arrested and I would never be here.
This coat was stolen by the fastest runner in the world.
But Tyson was rescued from the mean streets and his life of crime by legendary boxing trainer Cus D'Amato.
Well, a certain amount of pain suffering is good because it makes the person think they learn.
He was just like a great father. He did everything to make his son happy. The first day he met me, he took me in his house. He didn't even know me.
You're going to do real damage. You might drop the guy with one punch.
D'Amato nurtured Tyson both in and out of the ring, but never lived to see him become champion. Tyson was 19, on the verge of stardom when D'Amato died. Tyson lost much more than a mentor.
He needed a father.
Camille Ewald lived with D'Amato. Today, she still considers Tyson her son.
Cus didn't have enough time at all. The time he only had, he gave him how to fight. That's about all. But actually, how to live, he didn't have enough time.
Hey, how you doing, my man?
All right.
You'll be the next champ or what? That's what I'm in the business for, of course.
Right. But no one ever thought Tyson would take care of business like this. Tyson quickly smashed his way to the top.
Tyson misses with an uppercut, then lands a left hook, and the champion is down.
With this knockout of Trevor Berbick, November 22nd, 1986, Mike Tyson became the youngest heavyweight champion in history, just 20 years old.
Thomas trying to hold on. Serious trouble, and down he goes.
Tyson was unstoppable inside the ropes.
And down goes.
But he quickly learned